Hey everyone, I'm Melissa Tan, a climate action and sustainability advocate. I grew up as a very environmentally conscious kid who was obsessed with recycling. But of course, there is so much more to living sustainably, and that includes the buildings we work or live in. Tai Seng Exchange is more than just a conventional industrial building. Its sustainable design, coupled with SoilBuild's best practices in construction and building operations, gives it an edge over other developments in the area. Let's hear more from the architects. We have Armando, the mastermind behind Tai Seng Exchange, and also joining us today is Julian, the lead designer behind the next exciting SoilBuild industrial project coming up in Tampines North Drive. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, just walking into this space, it's such an experience. It's really impressive. I was wondering, what was the architectural concept behind Tai Seng Exchange?
Well, with Tai Seng Exchange, we wanted to reimagine the typical industrial building into a lush and welcoming space for all to enjoy. That is why we use this radial plan, where we arranged all the buildings around a central garden. And the other element was to encourage a journey of discovery for the users. So as the users move around the development and within Tai Seng Exchange, they will enjoy the different and unique green features of the building from different point of views.
So people coming in can definitely anticipate and experience. And for you, Julian, in Tampines North Drive, what was the architectural concept there?
In addition to the air well that brings natural daylight and ventilation to the building and the users, we've also have quite a number of solar panels on the roof. We've also incorporated quite a number of greenery on the horizontal and vertical surfaces. So in the form of roof gardens, courtyards, plaza spaces, as well as green walls on the facades. So these serve to not only provide visual relief, but also some passive cooling for the building and the building users. The site is also located along NParks Park Connector. So we've provided for an end-of-trip facility to encourage the building users to adopt more sustainable commuting practices for this development.
Oh, that's beautiful, really supporting the community. Even with all these really amazing features that I feel really should be in every building, there might still be some misconceptions that you hear from people. What are some of those?
Well, I think one of the things we hear often, people might think sustainable buildings have to be fancy and costly. Through a careful planning, a conscious design from the inception of the project, you can actually achieve significant cost savings, both upfront, I would say, and in the long term.
Yeah, I think Armando has a really good point. There are many cost-effective, passive means of sustainable design that we can adopt. These could supplement the more high-tech solutions that are available in the market. It's really about choosing the right features to incorporate into the design. When done properly, it would not compromise on the user's comfort as well as function and utility.
In fact, it really amplifies the experience of the space itself. So with all of this, what are some of the benefits that you see from all these eco-friendly designs and the building itself being green designed, especially in a climate like Singapore?
Singapore weather is very unforgiving to people and to buildings in terms of energy consumption, in terms of maintenance of building structures. And so the obvious benefit is that if we design buildings that can consume less energy, reduce the waste, the long-term benefit of having eco-friendly feature will be enormous in the context of Singapore built environment.
I think it's really part of our responsibility as building professionals to lead the way and set a good example for others to follow.
And now through the work that you do and the way these spaces are designed, that really reverberates outwards so we can all, aim towards our greater goal, low carbon living. So thank you so much, Armando and Julian, for sharing such deep insights with us today. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Now here we have Han Ching, Director of SoilBuild Group Holdings, here with us to chat more about what going green means to SoilBuild. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Han Ching, just walking into this building, it really brings such a pleasant experience. What are some of the benefits that you see bringing to employees and occupants when they use your buildings?
So in our green buildings, we've tried our best to incorporate as much natural light as possible, and we hope that would improve the workplace productivity by making the workplace a more conducive one for our occupants. We've also incorporated a lot of green spaces around the buildings, planters, terraces, and we hope that these pockets of greenery will give tenants an opportunity to interact, a space for them to relax and relieve their stress, hopefully.
Well, I can definitely agree with that. Seeing all this beautiful greenery. But apart from the user experience, what other benefits do you see just having green buildings here in Singapore?
So in an urban city like Singapore, we want to adopt more green buildings to hopefully make the city a more livable and resilient one. And we also want to take the chance to reduce our carbon footprint and our impact on the environment. And beyond these environmental concerns, green buildings achieve cost efficiencies for us, arising from a lower energy consumption.
Well, now in Singapore, you are one of the front runners, and I feel like every building should be designed this way. But do you see it being a norm here in Singapore, especially in the near future?
Yes, most certainly. And we are glad that the government is actually supportive in its push to make sure that most new buildings going forward will now be Green Mark certified with sustainable design.
Well, I mean, that's really encouraging for all of us to hear. Coming to the topic of sustainability, driving to the heart of it, how do you feel personally pushing for sustainability, and what does it mean for Soilbuild as well?
So back then when we first started, we wanted to design more green buildings as a way to differentiate ourselves from other developers. But over the years, we have witnessed the concerns arising from climate change and the increasing toll arising from urbanization. So in 2011, we developed our first green building called Solaris at One North. And Solaris at One North has extensive eco-features and innovative green vertical landscape design. Some of the key features include a continuous landscape perimeter ramp that wraps around the facade of the building, a solar shaft, and rainwater harvesting.
It sounds like you're on a great trajectory there. But looking forward, where do you see Soilbuild going in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of sustainability?
We definitely want to add more green buildings to our portfolio. So BCA Green Mark Platinum is no longer the highest level of certification, and going forward, we will be targeting BCA Green Mark Platinum Super Low Energy certifications for buildings in our portfolio.
So well said, Han Cheng. I mean, this has been so inspiring to hear. This is the heart of sustainability. How can we continue to push forward and not just be complacent, because there is so much we can do for our planet, and how can we inspire everyone else in the industry to go forward with us as well? So thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
Singapore is leading the way in sustainable urban development, serving as a prime example of green building practices for planners and developers across the region. Green buildings such as Soilbuild's Tai Seng Exchange and its upcoming development in Tampines North Drive can play a significant role in mitigating environmental degradation and promoting a more sustainable future. These projects aren't just about constructing buildings. They're about building a greener, brighter future for everyone now and for generations to come. So, here's a thought. What green features would you like to see in the places you work or live? Let us know in the comments below.